Hey guys, if smelling great is a top priority, Scentbird has an awesome special for you. If you want to try a new cologne at 30% off your first month's order, use the code SAMGOLD30 in the link below. Over the past 4 seasons, the Washington Redskins have had Ryan Kerrigan and Preston Smith as their main edge rushers. While Kerrigan has been, Kerrigan, Smith has been extremely inconsistent during his time in Washington. He would flash dominant traits in some games, while in others he'd simply disappear. In his final season in DC, he collected a pressure on 12% of his rushes. Even though that number is in the elite company of guys like Khalil Mack or the Von Millers of the world, the Redskins still couldn't afford to keep him. They allowed him to leave in free agency. This just left Ryan Kerrigan on the roster as the only true pass rush threat. They needed to acquire somebody else. At the end of the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, they traded their second round pick and a future second in order to land Montez Sweat. Now, if you're a fan of college football, you probably already know his name. He was one of the Bulldogs' best defenders on arguably one of the best defenses in all of college football. During the 2018 season, Mississippi State finished with the second lowest points allowed, just a tenth of a point behind the first-ranked Clemson defense. While Sweat wasn't the only first-round prospect on this impressive team, he was their consistent force off the edge, and he rightfully earned the first-round status he was taken. His ability to pressure the quarterback with speed, length, and strength is what made him so good. He finished his final season in college with 12 sacks and 14 tackles for loss, and based on everything I saw in film, I gave him an early to mid first-round grade. What really stood out to me as I went through his film was how he paired his length with violent hands. He would place his hands on the chest of the blocker and would lock them out to bully them backwards. While he did create most of his pressures around the edge, he flashed the strength and utter violence needed in order to show that he could become a great speed-to-power rusher as well. I think in a very short time, Sweat will be a major contributor to the Washington Redskins defense. In addition to using his hands to transfer power, Sweat flashed that 4.4 burst he showed at the Combine. He dominated Auburn's right tackle with the speed and bend. He burst off the line of scrimmage, forced the blocker to open the gate too quickly, and this caused him to lose a snap. He did this over and over again in this game. If you want to watch one match where he looked like the high potential player we all dream of, make sure you turn this one on as you won't be disappointed. In addition to that speed and power, Sweat flashed a dominant push-pull bull jerk that cleared an offensive tackle's shoulder. Check out this play against Kansas State. Sweat contacted the chest plate of the right tackle using his inside hand. He then placed his outside hand on the outside shoulder of the offensive lineman and then yanked him forward. After clearing the hips of the blocker, he ripped underneath his outside arm and nailed the cornerback in just about 3 seconds. While Sweat flashed dominance as a pass rusher at times, a number of his sacks simply came from second-level effort rather than from him winning immediately off the snap. While this is a positive when you look at his effort and hustle, there is also a clear negative. He has elite straight-line speed, he has great length at over 35-inch arms, but his hip flexibility isn't the best. He's a bit of a long-legged upright runner who doesn't have the best start and stop acceleration if he gets punched. Now, I feel like he's capable of turning into a double-digit sack guy based on his obvious talents, but it's far from a sure thing. At times, he was simply wide and too far outside, and he just couldn't bend around the corner in order to get in the pocket. Another area where Sweat needs to improve is how he fights off contact. If a blocker got their hands on him, they would engage and he couldn't shed the block, or he was late to shedding the block to make a tackle. Versus Alabama, Jonah Williams got inside his frame and Sweat couldn't disengage. He needs to improve his hand timing and placement in order to defeat the sound technicians he'll face in the NFL. While there are certainly other areas he needs to improve on, I think he needs to refine his pass rush plan. Too often he'll overstep his target or look lost if his first rush doesn't work. He uses a head fake setup to try to win outside on a rip move, but it fails too frequently. It also reduces his speed to power conversion off the edge. I want him to focus on his initial setup to use that long arm stab with length, and then use that to win either outside on a rip move or win back inside on an up and under. Based on what I saw in film, I feel like he's still perfecting the pairing of his hands and feet together. Right now, it takes away from his ability to rush the passer with more success. If he cleans this up, it'll immediately get him more clean looks at the quarterback. Looking over his tape, if there is one thing that you can definitely say about Sweat is that he plays with a high motor. If the ball carrier gets down the field, you'll see him pop up on the bottom of the screen more than willing to help make the tackle. For example, on this counter read option run to the right, Sweat was responsible for containing the quarterback. After ensuring that the QB handed the ball off, he ran down the running back from behind and tackled him after a 13-yard gain. Plays like this last one aren't uncommon for Sweat. He also does a fantastic job of using his hands and length in order to hold the point of attack. Versus Alabama in the first quarter, the offense lined up in shotgun with 2 running backs in the backfield. The defense has 6 men in the box. After the snap, Alabama automatically had a man-on-man advantage. They have 5 blockers plus a backside stiff block from one of the running backs. A hole appeared in the B gap between the left tackle and the left guard. Against any other defense besides one featuring Montez Sweat, this should have been an instant first down, maybe more. However, Sweat stopped it before it happened. He used his length and strength to lock out Jonah Williams, a first-round offensive tackle, before disengaging to pull the running back down from behind. This is an amazing play. Sweat was responsible for contained duties on the edge, yet he had the awareness, he had the technique, and he also had the athleticism to make this tackle. This was never his responsibility, but he saved his team the automatic first down and maybe more. While Sweat can be a very capable run defender, I think at times he can get wide and too far outside. This happened a few times on zone running plays against Alabama. In multiple instances, he was tossed aside in this open hole for the running back. I want him to get lower and use his base and length in order to establish contact and help seal the edge before it opens a big hole. Now, when you look at Montez Sweat as a prospect, I see him as a combination between Danielle Hunter from the Vikings and Ziggy Ansah of the Seahawks. Physically speaking, Sweat is roughly the same size as those two other players. He stands at 6'5", 260 pounds, and he has 35-inch arms. Also, they all tested pretty similar with 7-second 3-cone times and roughly the same vertical and broad jumps. The key difference between these three players was that Sweat ran a much faster 40-yard dash in college. He also outperformed them in sacks combined. In his final season in college, he collected 12 sacks, while Ansah and Hunter only managed 9 between them in their entire college careers. Now, both Ansah and Hunter turned great edge defenders in the NFL. They both routinely collect double-digit sacks. I think that's very possible for Sweat. He has all the physical tools, he showed the makings of a really good pass rush, and when you combine his high effort to chase plays, plus learning from a guy like Ryan Kerrigan, he should instantly make the Redskins a much better defense. Alright guys, if you're like me, you know that clone is nice but you have no idea what to get, then my friends at Scentbird have a great product for you. They have a monthly clone service that allows you to try a new scent each month. It's a very cost-effective way to test out all 600 of their partner products. Plus, with thousands of reviews, it makes picking each scent easy. Every month, they mail you a travel size amount that lasts over 120 sprays. Yes, in a 30-day month, that's 4 sprays each day. This is much better than your sample vial that you grab at the mall. I love the convenience, and since I travel for work, they make it super easy to test out each scent. Over the past couple of weeks, I tested out 3 different clones. I grabbed Aqua from Bulgari, which is a nice oceanic citrus smell perfect for dating. Then I tried the one for men from Dolce & Gabbana. This made me feel super manly as it smelled like amber and tobacco. Finally, I tried Eros from Versace. This is great for all-day use at the office, and it has hints of vanilla and cedar that age as well as the day goes on. Again, if you want to mix things up but don't want to pay $50 for a brand new bottle of cologne, I highly recommend giving Scentbird a chance. You can get 30% off on your first month's order if you use my promo code SAMGOLD30 below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. Also, if you want to see what I'm working on next, you can follow me on Twitter at SamuelRGold.